Yes, there is a sense in which the euro has consolidated the way in which European integration has proceeded, and that has been an underpinning for economic strength. Now, anyone listening to me saying that will say, well, what about Greece? Wasn't it disastrous for Greece? In practice, I think you can say maybe 16 of the countries in the Eurozone have benefited from being its members. And Greece, maybe Italy, maybe one other who I won't name, may be at risk of having done not so well as a result of being part of the euro. So for the great majority, it's been a good thing.
Why won't you name the other country?
Well, I'm more hesitant about saying Portugal because Portugal has been through some difficulties, but seems to have recovered from them.
Now, the currency did look to be, according to some people, on the brink of collapse just under a decade ago. A lot of mechanisms were brought in after the Eurozone crisis. Would those mechanisms prevent that kind of crisis from happening again?
Well, I think the crisis was really 5 years ago rather than 10. In 2008, when the financial crisis struck, there was a lot of backslapping going on in the Eurozone saying, look, it was the Americans, we've avoided it. And it was only in 2010 when the Greek crisis erupted and then the subsequent crises erupted in Ireland, Portugal, and others that we started to question whether the euro was the secure currency we'd been told. There have been massive changes somewhat beneath the surface. Most people don't really see these changes about the way rules are administered. We saw the recent contest between Italy and the European authorities, particularly the European Commission, over the Italian budget. All that is part of the new system of rules that's been put in place. But there is more to be done. And I think there is still, to most economic commentators, a problem at the heart of the euro, which is that the two principal countries behind it, France and Germany, still don't really see eye to eye on which way the euro should go. The Germans want rules, the French want discretion. That's been the case since well before the euro was started, even 10 years before the launch date that you're talking about at the start of this item.
Started with 11 member states, it has expanded to 19. Do you see any other countries joining the eurozone in the future?
Yes, I think especially if Brexit happens, and I still put an if before that, then the pressure will be on the other members of the European Union more rapidly to join the euro than they would otherwise do, because the biggest euro out country, the UK, will have gone, and that's going to leave Sweden, Denmark, and the remaining countries of Central and Eastern Europe exposed to pressures to join the euro as part of the European integration process. Now, there's going to be some reluctance with some of them. Bulgaria and Romania, for example, are, in economic terms, the most qualified to join because they more or less respect the rules for joining the euro. But there's going to be resistance from Frankfurt and others saying, well, we're not sure we want a country that's such a low level of income joining us right away. So I would expect over the next 10 years, maybe, we'll see 4 or 5 more countries joining the euro.